Hi there, I'm Mike. What I have for you today is Star Wars The Black Series Sith Jet Trooper. But on top of that, I figured, why not? Go ahead and do the Star Wars The Black Series First Order Jet Trooper. And then on top of that, why not just throw in the carbonized version as well? Because they're all pretty much the same figure, but with different colors. As always, go ahead and take a look at a picture of the figure while I read the bio on the back of the box. Specialized stormtroopers of the First Order, Jet Troopers soar into battle equipped with agile rocket packs. In its ultimate push towards galactic conquest, the First Order readies an army of elite soldiers that draw inspiration from a dark and ancient legacy. Starting off, I guess, with the regular First Order Jet Trooper, they first appear in The Rise of Skywalker during the chase on Pisana through the desert on those, skiff things. They fly now.
Oh, they fly now!
The Sith version got his debut a little bit after that, towards the climax of the movie, where the Final Order fleet sort of rises up out of the ocean for some reason, and then everyone's wearing red armor now instead of white. Side note, the Final Order is a much cooler name than the First Order. Moving on to the looks. What do they look like? Do they look like they should? Do they not? That sort of thing. And the answer here is sure. So as I said before, all three of these figures are basically the exact same. It just comes down to some very minor detail changes and then also the overall color of the figure itself. The First Order Jet Trooper is white. The carbonized version is sort of a creamy pearlescent color, and then the Sith version's red. So yeah, I guess they look like they do. At least these two look like they do. The carbonized one, which has been my main kind of gripe behind the carbonized figures in general, is that the carbonized one doesn't really fit in the movie. Like, the carbonized ones never appear anywhere. The red one and the white one, however, did. So I'm going to give them the full point, but the carbonized one is only going to get a half point. Moving down, what do they come with and what should they have come with? Well, they each come with a weapon. The regular First Order Jet Trooper and the carbonized one come with this like 3-barreled hand blaster thing. I'm sure it has a name. I can't be bothered to look it up. But it's sort of a blaster and also sort of a concussion grenade launcher. I don't know how it fits all those concussion grenades in that tiny gun, but it does. It's actually got some pretty good paint apps. There's black, there's white, there's silver. It matches the color of the armor. The carbonized one is the same. It actually has a little bit less paint on it, but again, it sort of just matches the armor that he has. The Sith version, though, has a completely different gun. His gun is actually the same gun that comes with the regular Sith Trooper. The regular Sith Trooper came with 2 guns. This is just one of them, but he only comes with the one. He doesn't come with 2 like the regular Sith Trooper does. The blaster fits well in his hand. Actually, they all fit well in their respective hands. This one, though, for the Sith Trooper, actually can clip onto his leg, whereas the other ones don't have that ability. But that's it. That's all they come with. And let's talk about some things they should have come with. Number 1, blast effects. Not just for their blaster, but also for their jets. It's a jet trooper. Being able to clip on some like rocket effects or something on there would have been pretty cool. Obviously, I always say things like alternate hands would be nice, but I think the thing that really would have pushed this over the edge of being great is a flight stand. These are jet troopers. They fly.
They fly now?
Giving them the ability to pose in the air, they should have all come with some sort of flight stand. Hasbro just started doing that. In fact, I think it's one of the new Black Widow figures comes with a flight stand. This would have been a perfect figure to be the first figure to come with one. And Hasbro really, I feel like, dropped the ball on that. So because of the lack of blast effects and flight stand and just the one gun, I'm going to give it a half point.
They fly now!
Next we have Articulation. Let's go ahead and take a look at the breakdown of that real quick. His head has a weird joint that lets it go forwards and backwards just up here. It goes forward that far, back that far. He just has a wide range of head movement. His arms move out that far. He does have a slight butterfly joint. He has a 90-degree bend at the elbow, as well as a swivel there. He has a rotation at the wrist, as well as a hinge. This wrist hinges this way. He also has a torso swivel. It moves forward that far, back that far. His leg moves forward, if you can turn it it goes forward that far. Kind of the same back. He has an upper thigh rotation, double jointed knee, a hinge at the ankle, as well as a rocker. With this being their widest stances with both their feet flat on the ground. So the head has all kinds of movement. It moves forwards and backwards, side to side. It has that double jointed neck, and surprisingly, it's not hindered by the extra sculpt on the neck, the little kind of turtleneck he's got going on underneath there. The shoulders have that butterfly joint that newer figures are coming with, and it really does help with the two-handed poses. Their elbows move at a decent angle. There's a lot of movement there, but I think the big surprise for me is while I'm not a fan of the bib that is their front chest armor, I was surprised that it doesn't hinder the articulation on that whatsoever. This guy's got more torso movement than almost any of the other figures I've reviewed recently. Also, the legs move pretty well. You know, as much as you can get these troopers into some dynamic positions, one of the things I really want to point out is how well these guys just kind of stand there. One of the problems I've had with trooper figures in the past specifically is that the molding on their armor keeps their arms from being able to sit straight at their sides. They can't stand naturally. They have to look like their arms are kind of coming out, like their muscles are too big. It doesn't look natural. These guys can just stand there. They just look like they're dudes chilling out. I really appreciate that. So it has the wide range of just standing around or actually doing something cool. So because of that, I'm actually going to give all three of these figures the full point. Next, let's move on to paint, sculpt, and detail. Now I have the carbonized figure in my hand because unlike other figures in the past, the carbonized one, it's just completely different paint-wise. In the past, the paint's just been kind of shinier, whereas this one, it's a completely different color. There's also a couple extra paint apps here. So on the head, on all three, the shape is the same. They have that kind of cone-shaped head coming around. I'm assuming, like the Rocketeer, it's good for being able to fly, that aerodynamics. There's some minimal paint on all three of their helmets. More so, of course, on the carbonized version, because I believe the whole thing is painted. But on the Sith and the regular First Order, it's the plastic that's the color that you see, and then it has some black paint painted on different spots where like vents are. Below that on the chest, we have some markings. It looks like some sort of Arabesh, the Star Wars alphabet language. I tried looking up what it says. I couldn't find it. No one I've seen has translated it. I can't find it anywhere. Maybe someone else can find it, but I spent a whole 5 minutes looking and I couldn't find it, so I gave up. But the paint on the front's pretty sharp. He has this weird kind of triangle. Looks like the lower half of a stick person. Like I said, the sculpt of the chest armor is actually kind of pliable and soft, but it still looks good. There's a lot of great ridges and divots sculpted into the material here, but the big difference here is that rocket pack. The rocket pack is easily the coolest thing about this figure. It doesn't actually make it back heavy like I was afraid it would. On the top, we have a sculpted and painted intake grill. Again, there's that same kind of logo. It looks again like the bottom half of a stick person. There are vents, there's thrusters, there's a lot of detail and paint on here. Honestly, I could spend a lot of time talking about it, but I don't want to spend too much time because you can just see it with the pictures I'm showing, and they look fantastic. The arms themselves are different, the head is different, and that front chest armor is different. But if we go down to his ankles, there is a little bit of extra sculpting on the back to give him some fins. Again, I'm assuming that's for like stabilization in flight. It's a cool little detail to make this guy a little bit more like my favorite Disney movie from the 90s, The Rocketeer. So while the sculpt is the same on all three of these, the paint is drastically different, and I'm going to give it the full point for all three. They all look good. They look like they're supposed to. I like all the detail that goes into all three of these figures. And lastly, we're going to talk about the want and availability. I am a sucker for troopers. I love troopers. First Order, Imperial, Rogue One troopers. The thing that you just can't deny, whatever your thoughts on the sequel trilogy and the Disney stuff, you can't deny that the trooper designs have been top notch. So the want was definitely there. The only thing that really kind of wanes the want for me is the carbonized one. The carbonized one is $5 more, which makes me want it just a little bit less. And again, they never really appeared like this in the movie, but being a trooper, there's always variations on colors for troopers, so I don't mind it too much, but the want was just slightly less there being that it was more expensive. So let's talk availability. Where do you get these? Well, the First Order Jet Trooper and the Sith Jet Trooper are both available on the main line. This figure came out back in November. It was number 98 in the line. This one just came out, or is coming out. I got it in the mail from Dorkside Toys. It's number 106 in the line. That's crazy. So you should be able to find both these pretty easily, whether in store, although I don't recommend that right now with the whole pandemic quarantine thing going on. Stay at home, order online, order from whatever your favorite online retailer is. But lastly, that just leaves the carbonized version. Now the carbonized version was a Walmart exclusive. This actually was the first version to come out. I got this on Force Friday back on October 4th. Him being the oldest and an exclusive, I honestly don't know if you can find him anymore. I only saw him in stores the first day that they were available. I never saw him in stores after that. He might be available on Walmart.com. He might be available from third-party vendors out there. I don't know how you can get a hold of this right now. Check Walmart, but that's where he was an exclusive for. I also do want to point out that the box for him, on top of him being shiny, the box is pretty shiny, but other than that, it's the exact same as the regular one, even down to the number. Oh, it's number 99. I said 98, didn't I? It's number 99. My bad. But either way, it's the same figure, just shinier colors on the carbonized one. So for the regular Trooper and the Sith Trooper, I'm going to give them the full point for want and availability. They're easily available, and the want is definitely there. For the carbonized one, being an exclusive to Walmart, being $5 more, and the carbonized thing just kind of feels to me like a gimmick. So for that, I'm gonna give it a 0.25. I mean, you might love it, you might score a lot higher, but for me, I think it's actually my least favorite of the three by far, for many reasons. So that leaves me the final score, but a couple different final scores. The Sith Jet Trooper and the First Order Jet Trooper both get a 4.5 out of 5. I love these troopers. They look great, they pose well, they got a lot of personality with them. I do just wish they came with a little more. It's kind of a bummer they don't come with a lot, but they move great. The sculpt and paint on them is fantastic. I absolutely love them. The carbonized one, unfortunately, is going to take a bit of a dip. It's 3.25 out of 5. Same thing as the others. I wish he came with more, but on top of that, he's exclusive, hard to find, and he was more expensive in the first place. It's hard to really recommend this one over the other when the only difference here is that he's creamy. That's it. He's just a little creamy. So if you love troopers, and you want to fill out your ranks with more cool troopers, I do recommend this, especially if you like the sequels. But even if you don't, I feel like they can find their way on your shelf and you'd still be happy with them. They're fun toys. Just kind of pick your favorite color, I guess. And if your favorite color is the carbonized one, good luck. And with that, that's it for my Star Wars The Black Series Jet Trooper review of the First Order, Sith, and Carbonized. Let me know down in the downstairs area what you thought. Did you like this? Do you have any? Do you want them now that you've seen it? I love to read and respond to all of these, especially now that I have a lot of free time on my hands. I'd also like to take a moment to thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon at the Black Series level or higher. Thanks, guys. It really does go a long way to help the channel out. If you want to see your name on here, down in the downstairs area, there's a couple different ways that you can help the channel out if you want to. If Patreon's not your thing, you don't want to pay any money, I totally get that. There's a couple free ways to help out the channel down there as well, up to and including liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell for notifications. All that stuff, again, kind of goes a long way to help the channel out, and it's free. And with that, that's it. Thanks for getting this far, and I'll see you later. Bye.